Welcome, my name's Ian McIntosh. I'm the keys player for Jesus Culture. This video is called the 5-Minute Guide to Creating a Simple Pad from Scratch. In it, we're going to be going through the synthesis process and starting and showing you very quickly how you can create that kind of classic pad sound, starting with nothing. Now, this is going to hopefully whet your appetite and give you some ideas and hopefully get people excited about synthesis. No matter what piece of software or hardware you're using, this is probably going to work for you. There are a few exceptions, like if you have a digital piano, maybe a Casio keyboard or something super basic, it's definitely possible that you can't get in and edit sounds. But for most of us, no matter what piece of software you're using, whether it's Logic, Reason, MainStage, Ableton, or if you have a hardware synth like a Prophet or maybe even an old vintage Jupiter or Juno, you're going to be able to take this and immediately start creating patches. So it should be pretty relevant to most of you. So let's go ahead and get started. For this example, I'm going to be using what's called kind of the 3 oscillator method. This is kind of copied from the old Juno synths and some of the other old vintage analog synths. And the concept is that there is a saw oscillator, a square oscillator, and then a sub oscillator that happens to also be a square. That's an octave below. Now, if you don't have 3 oscillators in your synth, go ahead and do just the 2 method, a saw and a square, that's fine. Most of you are going to find that you can find a 3 oscillator synth, and if not, definitely a 2. Logic has that, Pro Tool, they all kind of have that built in. So I'm going to start from scratch and kind of just go for it and follow along and see what you find. I have Reason open. I think it's very visual and nice to see kind of what's happening. It's a little hard to get zoomed in on some of this, so I did what I could. This is actually there's actually a zoomed in version, so it looks low res, that's why. Okay, so this is the default just Thor patch. Doing nothing, just a saw with a filter. Right? Nothing going on. So what I'm going to do is set it up first. So I have a saw on this first oscillator, that's fine. I'm going to go to the second oscillator and make a square. And I'm going to put that through the filter. Okay, and then we go to the third oscillator and make a square as well, and drop that down 1 octave, and then make it a little bit quieter. Okay, step 1, done. The next thing we're going to do is remove the envelope and velocity settings, and get a little bit of keyboard kind of tracking going on in the filter, and move the frequency knob down. And we're getting a little bit closer. And so I'm going to go ahead and move, get a little bit more res out of the filter. This is kind of a way you get some sound, especially when you have key tracking going on. Okay, we're going to go to the amp envelope and move the decay and sustain up. A little bit of attack, a little bit of release. Alright, and the next thing we're going to do is take an LFO and route it to this pulse width on the square oscillator. Let's go ahead and do that. So is that showing? Is it showing? It's showing. Great, fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and take LFO1 and route it to oscillator 2 pulse width. This is something that you do often in old synths. And I'll be honest, in the digital world, this doesn't often work brilliantly, but it does work. And I think, probably somewhere halfway, so 50 something. You're going to notice it's giving a little bit of swirl. Fine-tune a couple things. We'll deal with the resonant frequencies in just a little bit. So now we need to get some stereo going out of it, so we're just going to turn the chorus on. Analog choruses are great, right? Alright, let's just stop there for a minute. And we're going to create a few effects now. I always like to, in the box, stack chorus with unison. This isn't always necessary, but it's something I do whenever I'm inside of, not in a synth. Usually analog chorus is going to be enough, but sometimes you can stack unison to give it some effect as well. All right, next we're going to grab some reverb. This is all stuff you could be doing on your particular synth at home. You know, in Logic, you're looking at a channel strip, and in Pro Tools and Ableton or whatever, you'd be creating channel strips out of these, or instrument racks, or what have you. All right, we're getting kind of close, and what I'm going to do now is scoop out some of those annoying mid-range frequencies by creating an EQ. Let's see what this sounds like. It's getting there, and it's still missing a little something. Let's give it a little more high end. All right, so turn the volume up. And I think you get the idea. Wonder how fast we clocked in that. Did that take 5 minutes or not? All right, there you have it. The simple pad from scratch. Hopefully this has whet your appetite to get more into sound design and synthesis. And maybe next time you hit edit on your keyboard or open it up or see a cool synth, you'll start messing around and not get nervous. Or maybe it just gave you a few ideas and a few different thoughts you hadn't really had about it before. Now, if you want to see more videos on synthesis, sound design, sequencing, etc., go ahead and click the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, or the like button if you're on Facebook. And if you know someone who's into keys and synths and may want to see this video, please go ahead and share it with them. I love teaching people, and and you sharing it helps me get the word out to the right people, so it's very appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.